Now, live from Artie's Cut Rate Liquor Store, shooting range, candle shop, bowling alley, massage parlor, it's the Dave and Doc Podcast.
Hello, hello.
Happy day. Rocking away.
Rocking away.
Headed towards Mother's Day.
Oh, look at you.
Every day.
Look at you. You could be,
See, I coulda
you
cut
could be
the-
Drake or Kendrick Lamar.
Gonna talk some smack, man.
Yeah.
Bam. There was a little low blow when they started talking about Drake getting with the underage women.
Yeah.
That was bad.
That
Was bad. Of course, that woman went on and said, like, there's none of that. She just, so kudos to her because she just like completely kiboshed it.
I feel like those two would just slap at each other if they actually got in a fight. I don't think either one of them have ever been in a fight.
Probably not.
I think this is...
Perhaps they could hire Will Smith as a consult
That's true.
for fighting lessons.
He's got one good move.
He does.
For sure.
Yep.
For sure. It's the Dave and Doc Podcast, folks. Episode 77. I'm Dave.
And I'm Doc.
And all things Dave and Doc. Located right there on our website. Super convenient. On any device you have, you can go straight to www.daveanddoc.com. That's Dave, A-N-D, Doc, D-O-C.com.
That is it.
That'll take you right there.
That's right.
Happy Mother's Day.
That's right. Happy Mother's Day. Big weekend this weekend.
Happy birthday, Paxton.
Yeah, got Nuggets. B-Day party.
Nug turns 4 this weekend.
Gonna have a big time. We're excited.
It's going to be a time.
That's right.
Big time? I don't know.
Run around in the pool.
What's going on? I don't know.
Run around in
Will there be a pool? I don't know.
There could be.
I don't know.
Probably gonna be. I did see what I thought was snow cone liquid, and it's not.
No,
To which
sorry
I said,
you drank that.
To
I'm
which
sorry
I
you
said,
drank
yeah, I know I feel a little funny, but I'm okay. It's just I can't really see out of this eye, but I think I'm okay.
No, that's your Hep C.
That's
your Hep C
that messes with your eyes.
Yes.
That's a new symptom. Okay, I got you. I got you, man. Turn your eyes yellow, but you know. So big weekend, big birthdays. Had field day today. Callan had a lot of fun. You know, so good stuff there.
I miss the field days now.
Yeah, because he's too old.
Yeah, so Landon's in middle school.
He got
now.
outdated.
He did. He got outdated. He did.
It's sad.
His expiration dates.
It's sad. So yes, but yeah, but the big thing is Mother's Day, obviously.
Yeah.
And so happy Mother's Day to Shelby and to all the mothers out
I thought
there.
you were going to say
And,
Happy Mother's Day to me.
And obviously happy Mother's Day to my lovely wife, Laura.
Yes.
And to Lindsay.
To
and to
you
all
and
mothers.
yours. To you and yours.
That's right. And we're going to do some Mother's Day dad jokes. So here we go. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah. No, I'm always ready.
So this is a quote from a mother.
Okay.
Motherhood has taught me just how far I can let myself go and still be okay with it.
I'm just thinking how true that is.
Ever heard of a job that requires no experience, gives no training, pays nothing, and you can't quit?
Yeah. It's
motherhood.
Yes.
Oh, and people's lives are on the line,
yeah. Right.
by the way.
Right.
Motherhood is like a fairy tale, but in reverse. You start out in a beautiful ball gown and end up in stained rags cleaning up after little people.
Yeah. Seen some of that today. Walking around in algae.
Got to get the big push broom.
That's the key.
Silence is golden. Unless you have kids, then silence is suspicious.
Yes. Particularly after a fall. If you hear something like a big crash and then silence, somebody's injured or hiding, one or the other.
What are the 3 quickest ways to spread a rumor?
How's that?
The internet, the telephone, and telling your mom.
Yeah, that's 1,000,000% true.
I hate when I'm waiting for mom to cook dinner, and then I remember I'm mom. And the last one, what is the fastest land mammal?
What's that?
A toddler who's been asked what's in their mouth.
Yeah, that's 100%. 100%.
My favorite is now Bennett. He'll run away with stuff in his hands, but he puts his hand behind his back. Yeah, I'm like, I get you trying to conceal it, but I'm running behind you. So,
Yeah.
so
It's a directional awareness.
like
It takes some time.
you gotta get there.
It takes some time. The directional awareness, for
But
sure.
it is funny because his miles per hour definitely kick up when he's got something he's not supposed to.
Kids
It's
are
pretty
quick, man.
It's pretty funny. I mean, there's a definite when he wants you to play with him versus, oh, I got to get away.
I mean, we've lost 7 of ours. I mean, we only have 3 now, but we've lost 7 of them, and they just keep running off.
That's a lot of bumping cervix, man.
It is. That was the name of my band in high
is
school.
your chance, dude. The hump.
Bumpin' Cervix was my high school band.
No, it wasn't.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm the lead singer of Bumpin' Cervix.
He's here all week, fellas.
Oh, man, it's been a long week. Big stuff, like big meetings and stuff at work, and like I put a ton of time into it, and like it's just been. I was so happy when like 5:30 hit today.
You said, "Here we are."
Yeah,
You get half a break.
I get a little bit of a break.
So, anything exciting happen? Like any good stories?
Well, I mean, one of the I got a not a call from your office, but an email from your office this week. You know about this, so we'll tell the world now.
It was actually from our accounts receivable.
It was
at our central bank
And
office.
first of all, I didn't know that you were having money problems. I'm really sorry. Because had I known, I would have spotted you some cash.
It was a rough first quarter.
It was rough. Q1 was rough.
The Snowmageddon.
Snowmageddon did you in?
Snowmageddon.
Because I get this email and it says you have a new message. And I said, oh, okay, right. And the message was a billing statement, right? And again, for you folks playing at home, not a past due billing statement. This was brand new, right? I got a message and it said, check your billing statement. So I did. I was like, okay. Because, insurance doesn't always pay for everything. And I mean, there's.
It's weird. It's just a weird thing.
The interesting thing was the amount.
Oh, yeah.
The amount, ladies and gentlemen, was
Wait.
Oh, yeah, okay, there you go. 16 cents.
Trying to make $1. 16 cents.
And I didn't even think about this till later, but now I'm thinking about it. I actually used my Apple credit card to pay it because that's just what's in there to pay. So, like, you guys actually got 2% less probably. So, retirement's not going to be this quarter, buddy. I'm sorry. I should have let that go to collection. How long do you think it would have been before it went to collection? Like,
I don't think it actually does. I think they have like I think there's like a cutoff amount that it would actually go somewhere. Otherwise, wouldn't that be awful?
it was
To
really
mess your credit up over
16 cents.
It's terrible. I think there is something that kind of catches that. I really do.
We can't buy the Beamer.
That's
honey.
right.
Is that 16 damn cents
Let
from
me tell you something. We ain't buying a Beamer. If you've ever seen how my wife treats her cars, there's not a chance in this world.
well, if we buy a Beamer, it's Daddy's Beamer, like before, because I had one.
What series did you have?
I had the 325 Ci.
There you go.
Yeah, old, super old.
Yeah.
I bought it old,
Was you
and
rolling?
it was a convertible,
Oh, look at you.
top down, laid back.
With your mind on your money and your money on your mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
that thing. The top looked pretty bad when it was closed inside. It was pretty shitty. It was funny because, it was the kind of car, if it broke down on the interstate, you just take the tags off, leave the keys in the seat, and say, yours.
But it was a Beamer, baby.
Titles in the
It was
titles
a
in the glove
Beamer.
box.
I mean, if you just happen to steal it, we'll just call it even.
I just love convertibles, man.
Do you really?
I love them. And again, I don't have the head for it because I don't have a lot of hair blocking the sun. So I'm taking my melanoma life in my own hands when I do it. But
they make hats for that.
I don't look good in hats. I look terrible.
How do you
in hats.
know?
Because I've worn hats before. I look terrible. I look like I'm an accident when I'm wearing a hat. I look like people are looking at me like something's not right.
Dave.
I don't look good in hats at all. I'm not a hat guy. My head is just what it is. Like, I don't know what to, like, it's big.
Who's got the big head?
Me.
Who else?
Who else has got the big head?
Mom? No. Dad? Did your dad have a big head?
No, not really. But my brother Jeff and I both have big heads.
Interesting.
Wait a minute.
That milkman in Hooligan.
His nickname was Big Head Fred. Wait a minute.
It's all making sense. It's all coming back to
But
me
my
now.
grandfather on my mom's side had a big head too. Like I have his forehead and everything. So like I come by it honestly, but the difference was he was like,
and the
6 foot.
and the human growth hormone that you take
Oh, yeah.
to get buff.
Thank you for giving that to me.
You're
too.
welcome. You're okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
My medical license will be gone by the end of the.
I've noticed some things have gotten smaller though. I'm getting a little nervous. Am I injecting it in the right place? Am I supposed to put that somewhere else? Oh,
You'll be okay.
yeah, I think so.
You'll be okay.
Yeah, but 16 cents, that's the cheapest bill that I've ever gotten from anywhere.
How about that?
The pediatrician we go to once mailed me a bill for $1.15.
Oh man, we beat them
Yeah,
by full 99 cents.
And again, it was like consecutive times they billed us for like $1 or $2 or whatever.
That's hilarious.
And I got so pissed off. I wrote them a check for like $100. And I put a note in there, a little Post-it note. And I said, just put this on our account and don't bill me again until we eat this up. Okay? Thank you. And they did it. And I'm like, good. I don't want to deal with this. Not
That
to
is
mention the fact.
hilarious.
Not to mention
That
the
is
fact.
hilarious.
We're at this pediatrician a lot. You could just tell us and we'll pay. We're not the people that don't pay. I promise you.
You know, the hard part is nowadays, and I know you know this, but we honestly don't know what's...
Of course, because insurance and...
Because it's like, well, they paid for that, 6 months ago, not now, or they've never paid for that. Oh, look at this. This was free. Can you do that next year? Well, I have no idea.
Right.
Because they change it every year. So that's
Yeah.
part of it too. And that's what's aggravating. Because you just don't know. And we get people that will literally argue over like $1.15.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Not me.
They're just that fired up because they're like, it's supposed to be free.
There's places that I would argue if they told me that I owed them money. Let me tell you one that isn't, is my doctor's office. It's like, I trust you here to keep me alive, but when we're bickering over $1.15, I think you're screwing me. I mean, come on. It's just
True.
And again, listen, I mean, what's the old saying? Watch the pennies and the dollars will take care of themselves or something like that. But, I mean.
The days are long, but the years are short.
Yes.
Kind of that same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You like that?
Have a penny, take a penny.
Oh, look at you.
Take a penny, you're a thief. I have seen some funny ones in gas stations, like across my travels of the U.S.
Yeah.
Some funny, it's like, need a penny, take it. Might be dirty. There's just some funny ones. It's like, need a penny, take a penny, but don't take all the pennies.
That's
And
awesome.
I just say, I don't know. Sometimes it's
Have you ever seen anybody do that though? I have actually. Seen
Yes.
that. Like grab it.
yes.
It's like, what are you doing?
One time, a guy when I worked at Long John Silver's,
All the good things happen when you were at the LJS.
there was a gas station right across the street, still there actually, and
Quick shout out to my boy Thutton. We going to the Long Johns. You know we are. I'm just saying.
Long John's.
Dave knows.
Dave knows.
Yes. We're going.
So I'm at the LJS and I go across the street to the gas station. And like we go over there and like get drinks and soda and stuff,
Yeah.
like stuff that like I used to drink a lot of Yoo-Hoo.
Yeah, they don't have Yoo-Hoo at the LJS.
They don't sell the Yoo-Hoo.
Not to be confused with the LDS.
So we go to the quick sack across the street, and I'm getting the Yoo-Hoo, and here's an old man standing there with a bottle of Listerine and needs about 8 more cents. And so he was using the need a penny, take a penny. I feel like he was not using that in the proper way. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure he was using Listerine in not a good fashion. That and the fact that an hour later I saw him leaned up against the ice machine, smashed out of his mind.
You know,
Listerine. He
well,
smelled great though.
if you're not careful, that'll kill you because it's not really meant to.
No, I've read best I can tell, you're supposed to spit that out.
Yes.
Yes.
It'll get you. Wow.
Snorting it's weird too. It's weird.
Burns.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
Burns the nostrils.
It does. Opens the sinus though.
That's right. I mean, every hour
Nothing's living in there. That's for sure. Like
2 sniffs and a puff,
2 balls in a bat. Pitcher wears a hat. Slide in home base, try to hit a home run.
Yeah, but he was using it. And
Colt 45 and 2 zigzags, baby. That's all we need.
I've seen that before, too. I've seen other people use it before, but like for legitimate reasons. His was because he was like 8 cents short on a bottle of Listerine.
So bad.
I gave him money once before, too.
That's so bad.
He asked me if I had like $1 to spare, and I gave him $5. I know what he did with it, but I don't care.
See, that's where I can't. I just can't. I can't promote it. So what I'll do, like people that are, I mean, obviously they're panhandling to try to get booze. Mm-hmm. I'll tell them, I'll say, hey, let's go in here and I'll buy you a sandwich.
Yeah, no, I've done that before too.
And if they come in there, I will buy what, I mean, within reason. I mean, but I mean, let's get you a couple hot dogs. Let's get whatever.
2 hot dogs and a cold 6-pack.
No, we don't buy any of that. Because I know.
I'm not buying your Listerine.
The mountains are blue. The mountains are blue.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not buying you any Listerine. No. But seriously, because, and most time people are like, no, forget it. Because they just want to buy alcohol.
I'm
like, listen, I'll buy you something to eat.
Walmart in Pounding Mill, Virginia. A guy comes up to my...
So I'm sorry, what?
Walmart in Pounding Mill, Virginia. It's a place.
How old is Mill? Is she okay?
She's fine.
Okay.
She's taking a beating.
Okay. All right.
She used to come see my band.
Oh my God.
So, but no, he comes to my truck.
Did that cause CTE?
Yeah. She walks like this now.
Oh my God.
Those headboards, man. So he comes up to my truck. I get out of the truck and he comes up to my truck and he goes, hey, like I need to buy groceries for my family. Like, could you give me some money? And that's what I told him, thinking he would probably say no. I said, dude, if you want to follow me in, get you a cart, follow me,
and we'll get
and
some
fill it
stuff.
up. I said, we'll fill it up. And that's what he did.
How about that?
He followed me in, like he got cereal, and he goes, how much can I get? I said, dude, fill it up. Whatever.
That's awesome.
It's fine. We went down every aisle.
That's awesome.
And he got like $194 worth of groceries. But I told him, I'm like, hey, if you come in here with me, dude, I will absolutely 100%.
See, and that's legit. That's what I'm saying. Now he returned it all after you left.
Right.
Went back in and got
what sucked about it?
Got his Mad Dogs 2020.
You know what sucked about it? Because I went ahead and got a cart just so he wouldn't feel weird. And I only needed like 4 things. Like I needed like a 2-liter of Mountain Dew and like a box of cereal. So I mean, I needed like nothing. And like I got a grocery cart anyway, and like I'm pushing it around with nothing, and his is like heaping over. But I helped him to his car with it. He put it in the back of a van. There was kid seats in there.
Yeah.
Right? So he obviously had kids. He thanked me a lot, and I'm like, hey man, no problem at all. Like this is it's fine. And again,
like I said, that's how it's supposed to be. That's what you want to be able to do.
And I didn't think he would fill it all the way up, but he did. But hey, I told him, right? Like I said, hey, listen, man, fill it up.
Dave.
I'm just joking. I'm joking.
No, you're not.
So I did not expect him to do that, but was not upset when he did. I'm like, hey, did you get everything you need? Do we need to go look at clothes? Do we need to,
Right. What do we need to do?
And he, and he said no. And the keg was weird, but
it was just a pony keg, though.
Just a little baby. It
wasn't
fit right underneath the...
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah. Pony keg. That's all you need. Party for 2. Party for 1.
Maybe he ate all
Hard to do a keg stand, but
Yeah. He did get some frozen meals and stuff, too, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you don't want to get all perishables.
He got the dinosaur
nuggets.
Chicken nuggets.
Man, best thing ever. Man,
those are great.
So
the T-Rex, eating the T-Rex.
So good.
Did you see the news report this week that said we might be wrong in how the T-Rex sounded?
No, I didn't see that.
I've got an issue with that because do you know what we don't know? How the T-Rex sounded.
So here's my question about that.
Yeah.
So, did they give the background of how they derived or whoever derived the sounds of the dinosaurs?
Apparently, and again, I'm not. What is that? Paleontologist.
Yeah. I mean, I guess yeah.
I'm not that or an archaeologist. I'm not an ologist of any kind. I have no
Despite the
ology.
band name.
Right, beside the band name. But it was something about their skull and their mouth and like the way it was shaped. They were trying to decide and I guess they're looking at that and then looking at other animals that might
Really?
be close to that. Again,
Okay.
the whole point of it is
All right.
fucking stupid.
Oh, okay.
It's fucking stupid. I mean, it is. I mean, that's like last weekend when they had that Bigfoot calling contest. How do you know who won?
Right.
He didn't show up.
What if he? What if he had?
Well, then shit, you win, right? I mean,
What if he wanted to mate with you?
well, it is what it is. You called him. You can't stop love, buddy.
Oh my God!
Can't hurry love. You just have to wait, and you can't stop it once it happens.
You'll just have to wait, though, right? You can't hurry.
Just wait it
love.
out.
Oh, you'll just have to wait.
It's like Eddie said about
Phil Collins.
snot, right? Eddie said it about snot, right? He's like, now if he gets going on your leg, just let him finish.
Dave.
Christmas Vacation. When Chevy Chase used to be fun.
Yeah, but he's got health problems, man.
He's got an asshole problem too. I mean, figuratively. He might also have a literal asshole. I don't know. I don't know what his diagnosis is. He's figuratively also having an asshole problem because he is, in fact, an asshole.
Which is surprising, you know.
It is and it isn't. It's just I don't know. But it sucks because you just want to think that he's just funny all the time, like Jerry Seinfeld. You know.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not. No.
It's just not the way.
Like Larry David, right?
Yeah.
I just feel like he's that guy all the time. He's a billionaire.
Right.
Like he doesn't care.
Right.
Like a dude's got nothing to worry about. And people just laugh at him by looking at him, because he's just funny.
That's just who he be.
So speaking of funny stuff, but something I didn't watch,
Legendary.
was the Tom Brady roast.
A lot of people talking about this.
A lot of people were talking about it. It was on Netflix, I
A lot
think.
of people talking about
And I didn't watch it for obvious reasons because
You didn't want to see the greatest
screw
quarterback
that
of all time.
jackass. No, I see him all the time. I have pictures everywhere. There's one behind me, as a matter of fact. I didn't want to watch it because here's what I think. And again, I've seen clips from the show.
Right.
Because I wanted to see
You got
how
that.
Kevin Hart did, and I wanted to see how they made fun of Gronk and that sort of stuff because he's an idiot. And then
He spiked a shot glass.
and then I saw scenes of Tom Brady. That guy, he has no sense of humor. He has no sense of humor. Some of that shit was funny, even if they're talking about you. I mean, here's an example, right? We're sitting on the steps of our house here, over there, right, going upstairs. And it was the whole family, right? This was several years ago. We had the whole family here, and we did the little everybody sits on a step,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Nugget was just little.
Take the picture.
Yeah,
Everybody take the picture, quick.
and so my two jackass brothers are sitting behind me, right?
Yes.
And the middle brother, the bigger jackass, said, "Whoa, Dave, your head's blinding us back here." I'm like, "You asshole!" But it was funny, right?
Right.
But I have a sense of humor,
Right. You do.
and it doesn't bother me because I know that there's not hair back there. I know it's spreading.
The her back there.
I know it's not. I know it's going away. It's not growing. It's funny.
Are they bald too?
Yeah, Jeff is. Yeah, my middle brother is.
Yeah, see, there you go.
Jerry's got all kinds of hair.
Is he-
I mean, in the right places, I guess. But
Stop.
he's got all kinds of hair.
Stop.
All kinds.
Stop.
But Tom Brady has no sense of humor.
He's very, yeah.
He's a jackass. That's what he is. He's a jackass. He's a 1,000,000% jackass. Even if he didn't play football. Let's say he worked at the Quick Sack. Nobody's walking in there going, wow, that's a friendly dude. No. He's just,
Do you think he's just very guarded, though? And I'm not a Tom Brady fan. We know this, but I'm
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I don't. Maybe he is. I don't know. You're right. I mean, that's a good point. Maybe he's very guarded. Maybe
he's also done some things. I mean, of course, he didn't know Bridget Moynihan was pregnant when he went with Hissel, but that's not really good.
It's not. And again, I mean, that's one where he didn't know and then they broke it. I mean, okay. It's like, I get that, but first of all, why would you leave her? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I like Bridget Moynihan way better than Giselle Bundchen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even really close.
No, it's not.
Sorry,
not
this
at
thing's
all.
hurting my head. I can fix my. There we go.
But
yeah, man.
So I don't know. I don't know. Again, it's hard for me to look at it. It's hard for me to look at it in any other way because I can't stand him.
I get that.
Him and he's just a jackass. And so then it made me remember something though that I keep forgetting, and I keep getting reminded of it. And this goes into the NFL has got some change. Well, the network has some changes.
Yes, they do. Yes,
right.
Yes.
So not the NFL, but the network. So for CBS, first of all, they fired Boomer and Phil Simms.
I know. How about that?
Who've been there forever. Boomer's been there
22 years, was it?
something like that.
Now he's staying on doing.
He's doing CBS radio because he's got a show on radio.
So
that's actually, and they extended that for another 2 years.
Yeah, he didn't quote unquote get the huge axe.
Phil Simms got escorted out of the building.
But Phil is gone.
Phil is gone.
Like he didn't even get an opportunity. It's like,
well, nobody likes hearing him talk.
Well, that's true too.
I didn't like him when he was a Jim Nance. I mean, I just didn't like it. Tony Romo's starting to wear on me too, but not as much as Phil Simms.
That's because Romo, man, he just says some dumb stuff.
He does,
and it drives Jim Nance crazy. It does.
Yeah, I've been in that position. I've been in that position.
You're in that position. You're dealing with me.
Well, no, but what I meant was doing radio and doing sports, and so the person with you got to be in sync.
Right.
Because and it's okay to say funny stuff because Madden, you never knew what the hell he was going to say, but Pat Summerall was always in sync with John. They were always in sync. And then Al Michaels worked really well with Madden and yada, yada, yada. But yeah, it's just that Tony Romo's kind of doing his own broadcast.
He kind of is.
And you can't do that.
Right. Right.
And so CBS hired Matt Ryan, which is a good call, I think, and J.J. Watt, who's actually pretty good on camera. So I think they did well there.
No, they got...
I think it's an upgrade. Well, if Phil Simms was involved, it's definitely an upgrade. God. How has he worked there that long?
Well, I think it was... I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Super Bowl champ. I mean, knows game football. He just has a different, I guess some of his aloofness, if you will.
Does he?
And he was with, he was with Nance.
I know.
I mean, when you're with Nance, it's hard to not come off looking pretty good because Jim Nance is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah, Jim. Jim right now, I think, is the gold standard.
You know what I mean?
Al Michaels used to be, but Al's losing it a little bit.
I think Al didn't want to leave NBC.
No, of course not.
And that was it was what it was.
NBC didn't want to keep them both on the payroll. Him and Tirico both.
That's correct.
Yeah,
that was the whole reason. Yeah, right.
NBC's had that problem before. NBC has problems with that sort of stuff.
They do. This is true. This is true.
Jay Leno.
It's true. Right.
WNBC.
Right.
WNBC.
Seriously.
But yeah, NBC. So NBC, that lineup is staying the same for Sunday Night Football, but Fox, my friends, is changing because Tom Brady, of course, starts his broadcast career with Kevin Burkhardt. And it was just when I was starting to like Greg Olson. I was actually starting to like that. I was like, okay, this is starting to work. And now Greg Olson has no idea. He got interviewed and he's like, I'm still under contract, but I have no idea.
I thought he was going to be the number 2.
Well, it's not official. We don't know. That was what he assumed, but he's still under contract. But I don't think it's official.
Man, if they don't, I'll be honest. If they don't keep Greg Olson in some capacity, that is really stupid.
I could see him going to NBC and waiting in the wings until Collinsworth retires.
Oh, wow.
and then like he would hop into that broadcast. But I don't know.
I mean, you never know.
Collinsworth's probably got a several more years though. I can't see him and he's really good.
I think he's really good.
But yeah, so yeah.
Did I tell you I met him?
Yeah, you were on an elevator
At the Four Seasons.
and it was weird because his penis was out.
No.
You're like, Chris, dude,
No.
put it back in, Collinsworth.
I mean, I wasn't bad looking back then, Dave. So, I mean, sometimes
he just, sometimes you just got to whip it out.
women, men, goats, they just fall on and not so much anymore.
Yeah. That was a joke Nikki Glazer did too. Yeah, I'll let you folks look that one up. It was about who was the guy? Who's the roast master? He's at why can't I think of his name? I'm looking at him. He lost a ton of weight. I can't think of him, but anyway.
What is that guy's name?
I don't know, but like I know him. And
That's bad. We're gonna get made fun of for that.
But anyway, like she said that like that's the only goat that he hasn't. I'm like, okay, that's funny.
Dang.
But anyway, Nikki Glazer's funny.
Nikki Glazer is pretty funny.
But how do you think it's going to be?
She's ruthless too.
She
Good
is.
grief.
How do you think it's going to be a full football season listening to Tom Brady do color
I
commentary?
don't think it's gonna be good.
I think it's going to be awful.
Yeah, I mean, and supposedly that
He's
was
got
part.
a
That was
10-year, $375
good for
million
him. Hey,
contract.
he went and got the money, didn't he? That was smart. Can't say Tom's not smart. Supposedly he took a year to kind of study what the heck he was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
It's not going to be good.
No.
It's not going to be good. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now. It's not going to be good.
Because let me tell you something. Joe Montana tried this. Joe Montana did the studio show when NBC had the
I can.
And he was
I
awful.
remember. I know.
He was awful.
And he admitted that and got out of it.
Yep. He didn't even do a full season, I don't
No.
think. Like he was gone like 8 weeks in, I watched this back. I'm terrible.
Yeah.
And because Joe's not a media whore.
Right. It was like Jason Witten. He was terrible.
Oh God, he was awful.
That was painful. Super nice guy.
Him and Booger McFarlane. Oh,
Yeah, but I mean, that was just a bad idea. I mean, that is like they had nothing else to throw out there. Oh, let's do this.
and then they stuck him in that box or whatever. Like he was like above this, like the same thing they did to
Yes.
that other guy on Sunday Night Football. And I'm like, this is the dumbest shit. Like we're just not. It's like, guys,
You know what bothers me about Sunday Night Football on NBC
what's that?
is you got Maria Taylor and Jason Garrett and Chris Sims in the studio, and then you've got Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison like down on the field,
Two football geniuses.
and you've got
Who's really good on camera?
and you've
too.
got Maria Taylor, Jason Garrett, and Chris Sims.
Yeah,
Now, what's wrong with that picture?
a lot is wrong
Yeah.
with that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
Two,
remember
two overconfident white dudes that never won shiznit.
well, and you used to have Dan Patrick.
I mean, if I
He
was
used
Maria
to-
Taylor, I'd be like, why are these jokers in this booth? Why are they in this studio with me? I mean, she may not care because obviously she's getting paid bank.
Yeah.
But I mean, where is Tony? Where is Rodney? Why are those idiots?
do you remember when Dan Patrick hosted that?
Yes.
And Rodney and Tony were in the studio. It was so much better.
Yes.
It was so much better.
And I'm not, and I'm not a huge Maria Taylor fan either, to be honest with you.
I'm
But-
not a Maria Taylor.
But I mean, right. But fine. You want to move Dan out? That's fine. Okay,
Sure.
you put Maria Taylor in there. I'm good with that. That's fine. I get you. But you put Jason Garrett and Chris Sims in the studio for the primary discussion points instead of Tony Dungy and Rodney Harrison.
Yeah,
That's stupid.
it is. It is. It's stupid. Stupid.
I mean,
I don't get it either. I again, NBC I think should have kept Al Michaels.
yeah.
I don't understand that. I know Collinsworth wanted him to stay. And I think Al wanted Chris Collinsworth to go with him because you remember Madden did that, right?
Right.
Like they
did.
they didn't exactly go at the same time, but it was before the season started. But like Madden's like, hey, I'm going over to NBC. And Madden was like, hey, I'd really
Something wrong.
like to have Al. And Al's like, okay. And then they made the deal. But it just doesn't work. Like
It's
that
like
studio show.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. I mean, that's what they did.
Yeah.
You know,
Which I just wish they'd stayed at Fox.
me too.
because like the Monday night games they've had have just not been that great.
No, they're terrible.
And it's
Sorry, sinus problems.
and it's well, listen, it's you got
the season.
You got to like just
No, they didn't.
This time of year you have to swallow the pills. Don't sniff.
Oh, sorry.
It gets
keep
bad.
forgetting that.
I know, man.
It's just so much
You
better
change
though,
the direction of your
when
fan.
when you
and
hit
then
it,
you're-
I know, man. It's a different free base. It's hard, but yeah, they didn't really have good games this year or this past year.
Oh, I didn't think so.
Now ESPN got it right because they got them on Monday Night Football.
100%.
Like, you did a lot better. Good job.
Yeah.
But they went together. Now, I also think Troy Aikman's no dummy. He's not.
No.
And I think he said they're hiring Tom Brady one way or the other.
Yep.
I see what's about to happen here. And it probably shows you that Joe Buck did not want to be with Tom Brady. And he said, I'm not going to have any part of this. I'm out of here.
I don't think Kevin Burkhardt does either. I just don't think he has.
I don't think anybody does because he's not going to be good at it.
The guy has the personality of what I let out this morning. And I had tacos last night.
That's mean.
I could have let out pigeons this morning. You
Stop.
don't know.
Oh, my
You don't know.
goodness.
You don't know what I let out.
I went and ate at Lonesome Dove and had some dove. I had those rabbit livers.
Elk was good there at Lonesome Dove.
I've heard that.
The Elks is really
The elks.
Elks.
The elks.
the Elks. And then they got geeses.
The mooses. Them mooses are awesome.
Stupid English.
Shrimps. Got those shrimps. That was always my favorite though when Essence Emerald because he was our shrimps. And I mean he knew it wasn't shrimps, but he would say it for fun. Shrimps. Yeah.
So it's going to
Did
be.
you ever watch that Essence Emerald?
I did.
Bam.
Bam.
That was awesome back in the day.
What was the lady that used to do that? And she'd say spice it up a bit. She'd do the same thing. She'd do like a
I have no idea.
bam, put some spice in it or something like that. No, she used to do the same kind of thing.
I don't know who that
I don't
was.
remember. Put a splotch of spice in it.
Ginger spice.
So yeah, ginger spice. I forgot that was off air, right? We were talking about.
Dave.
So big news for the show. About 2 or 3 weeks ago on the Joe Rogan podcast. Hey Joe, how you doing? I know you listen.
Joe, if you want to come on the show, man, just come on down.
I'll
just
fly
saying.
Joe here to be on the show. Like he could be in studio. We'll all three sit around and
How
talk.
awesome would that be?
Or Joe will come to you. Like I don't care. I'll come to Texas. That's fine. But Joe's probably got some elk in a freezer. Actually,
I bet he does.
that'd be great.
And some moose.
And some mooses, some elks and mooses, some meese.
Some meat.
Meat meat. So about 3 weeks ago, Bart Sabrell was on the Joe Rogan podcast. Now you may not know who that is. He's most known from a documentary he did called "A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon." He also did one called "Astronauts Gone Wild." Just recently, did a book called Moon Man, which is essentially his biography and some of the things that's happened to him. What you don't know, you knew this, but I'm telling the world, what you don't know is the backstory when I started listening
If you
to Bart.
believe they put a man on the moon. Man on the moon.
Years ago, back in about 2003, there was a radio station, syndicated morning show, let me say it that way, out of St. Louis, Missouri, called the Stephen D.C. Show. Who their real names are Isaiah Wilhelm and Terry Trawick. Anyway,
Stephen D.C., Isaiah, and
Terry.
how do you even get there?
I don't know. But anyway, so when he did the documentary, Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Moon, he ended up on the Stephen D.C. Show. And that's the first time I had heard him. And for almost 20 years, I've wanted to talk to the guy because you know me, I love conspiracy theories. Doesn't mean I believe them, but I love defending them.
That's pretty crazy, man.
And so I saw him on Rogan. I'll be completely honest, and I'll tell Bart this as well. I didn't even know he was still alive. You know, like I didn't know. And then so he came out with his book Moon Man, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to listen. That's from Bart Sabrell. And then he was on
this dude.
And then he was on Rogan, and I'm like, oh, look at him. He's got a lot less hair than he did before. But
So do you.
So do I. So we're
okay.
It's a kinship.
Does he have a big head?
He does have a big head.
Does he wear hats?
He does not.
Y'all might be brothers. Man,
I think we might
from
be.
another mother. Your dad was out there crop dusting,
So, right,
sprinkling it.
sprinkling it.
Shazam!
Just a little dewdrop. So I reached out to Bart, right?
Yeah.
Thinking, because just so you folks know, a little behind the scenes stuff, we reach out to a lot of people, and sometimes it just doesn't work out. And then sometimes they don't ever get back to you because, I mean, let's face it, we're not, we don't have 100 million subscribers yet.
No.
We're almost at 42K though.
Yes.
But
I like it.
But so I reached out to Bart, and Bart said, "Absolutely, sure, I'd love to be on your show." And I kind of told him a smaller version of the same story I just told you.
Yeah, you got to get to the point, right?
Yeah.
You can't,
I'm like, "Hey, Bart,
like your time is valuable because you
Yeah.
you have actually done stuff, Bart. So here you are.
I'm like, hey,
20
Bart.
years ago
Yeah.
on the Steve and DC show, I
said that.
heard you.
And like he remembered, like he was like, "Yeah, I remember being on that show," and blah blah blah. So very gracious, appreciate it, and we're trying to work out getting him on the show. Said he'd be happy to be on the show. So look for that even
You the man,
potentially
Bart.
next week.
I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, so potentially even next week.
That'd be great.
And so I
So in honor of that,
So-
or in the anticipation of that,
yeah, I thought it'd be cool to kind of start the start the conversation
Nosferatu.
around some.
You weren't ready for that.
I wasn't. Wait, he was real.
So,
I saw the movie.
we don't know.
So I thought it'd be cool to talk about some conspiracy theories.
They should sponsor us. I'm just saying.
They really should.
Anyway, all right, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm ready for this. I'm actually kind of excited about this.
So I listed a couple that we could talk about.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And the first one, it's not going to surprise you that this is the first one because I've actually researched this one quite a bit. And that is Mr. John F. Kennedy.
Yes.
And that one has always been really interesting to me because of the handling of the evidence, eyewitness reports,
The pristine bullet.
the magic bullet that stopped midair.
Right.
Sorry, there's the camera. Midair. And then, and
The single shooter.
the single shooter versus, people on the grassy knoll and other people that were interviewed too. All like that day, like a lot of that got suppressed, and again, there was no social media then, right? So there's only like 3 news stations at that point.
Right.
And so it was such a big, I think it was such a big shock to the United States, as it would be. I don't think anybody even thought about it at that point. They're like, yeah, somebody shot the president. Oh, it was that guy. Okay, good. We got him. I don't think anybody thought anything else about
I think it was a different world back then. I mean,
I agree.
If you go back there, I mean, think about how many affairs John, and this is not but I mean, he had so many affairs and like none of that was talked about. Now it's talked about a lot now.
Sure.
But back then, like that was all just kind of FDR could not walk. He had polio, had destroyed his legs. They fixed that up so you would never notice. You know what I mean? So it was just the media was more on the side of the people. Now it's we want to tear everybody down and find something wrong with them. Cancel culture, come get you.
The media is blowing the government now.
Of course, now they say, what ties did, because you go deeper on that. It's like, well, he was super deep in with the mob, or they didn't really want him to be elected, whoever they were, and so they basically cooked this up to get him out of there.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's all kinds of things. I mean, the main thing on that, and that's why I always think there wasn't a single shooter. There's no way that bullet comes out of it. It can't curve like that. Like that's been studied time and time again. And the trajectory of the bullet, there's no way that could have happened.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the thing that got it. And then you find this pristine. Oh, this is the bullet. No, it's not. It's not.
Do you want to hear something funny?
And yeah,
There was a guy talking about this once years ago on radio, and he was talking about the book depository, right?
Yeah.
The 5th floor or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And he kept calling it the book suppository.
Oh my God, poor guy.
And
He must have just been
super
nervous.
smart guy.
Must have just been nervous.
Super smart guy. And he kept calling it the book suppository, and like the guys were giving him a hard time. They're like, do you think he was squatting? Like he didn't get it. He didn't get it.
He didn't pick up what. Dang, that's bad. You're getting made fun of right in front of your face.
like,
You
it's great.
you don't realize what you're saying.
And after the interview, they're like, holy shit, the book suppository. That's a big thing to put in there. You got to work your way up to that level, folks.
know, man.
You got to start small and spread that thing out. We're going to start with a pencil. And then when we get done, we're using a baseball bat.
The safety word is Yahtzee.
Is Armageddon.
Armageddon. That's right.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So in the interest of this, because we could talk about this for 6 hours. And I've promised people that we're going to try to keep the show to an hour. I don't think it's going to happen.
That might be your wife.
No. It's other
oh.
people are like, man, like an hour and 40 minutes, man. It just like takes me days. And like, I'm like, all right, we'll try to keep it.
Hey,
around.
if you're a dedicated fan, it doesn't matter how long this sucker is.
That's,
Enough jibba jabba.
Don't come
Cut
at me
out
with
the
this.
cut out the jibba jabba.
Cut out the jibber jabber.
That's right.
So
I'm just kidding. I mean, no, other people have said that too to me.
know.
They're like, "Hey, this y'all." I'm like, "Wait, it's pure fun. We
Sometimes
just going,
it just is what
we're
it is.
going crazy because it's like a Seinfeld episode. We're talking about whatever. Anyway, so in the interest of time constraints,
So different questions here.
okay,
So what we were told is there was one shooter,
right?
and do you think it was one shooter?
No, I don't.
Right.
I don't believe that.
So
All right, and I never will. And they keep threatening like they're going to really release the whole thing.
They're not, yes.
And it's never going to happen because I'm like, is anybody else alive that was, that like had intimate knowledge? Because that's what my
few and far between.
my psychology teacher in high school, he said, when the people that had intimate knowledge of this all die, and they got to be close. Good grief.
It was 50 years ago.
Longer than that, 60.
60, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 60.
So they were going to release it. And I'm like, well, good grief. If that was 62 years ago, I think it was,
63 is when it
ish. Okay.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah. Okay, then there must be a couple of like 20-something-year-old people that had some sort of knowledge about it and they're waiting for them to die. But they told somebody at this point, my God.
So,
but no, there's no way there's one shooter. There's no way.
So does that, in fact, just by that definition alone, make it a conspiracy? Just by that definition alone, because what we were told by our government.
I would say yes.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think you have to. Yeah.
I know you think I'm trying to trick you into
No,
this.
no, I don't really don't. No,
I agree with
no,
you.
because it's kind of my opinion, so you can't really. I would say yes, and the main reason being, if you think about that, it's like what else was going on within Camelot that we don't know about back in those days, and they rubbed him out.
You know what, George Carlin?
They rubbed him out. I believe that. I don't know what the heck was going on, but they got him the heck out of there.
George Carlin was joking about that. He said they called it Camelot, and then he talked about the affairs, and he said they should have called it Camelot.
Dang.
Thank you, George.
George was ahead of his time before those roasts.
He was.
He was just letting people have it in his comedy show.
So let me ask you this.
Okay.
So let me ask you this. So if that, in fact, was a conspiracy and it was definitely a cover-up, and potentially, I think most people think that, Johnson may have been involved. Somebody was involved with having him killed. And probably somebody at a very high level had him.
Dude.
It seems like Jack
Ruby killed Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the one person who you're blaming on, and then they got killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
They make movies about this stuff,
So
something.
it's safe to probably assume at this point that some high-ranking official inside of our government, and it may not have been a collective, it might have been a small group, said we've got to get rid of this guy.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious, but so let me ask you this then.
Here we go.
If the government would openly lie about a presidential assassination, what else might they lie about?
Everything, because they're the government.
I think that is a safe bet.
No, right. So here's the thing. If you believe one conspiracy theory, what's to say all these other ones are not true? And I think that's that's an interesting point. And I think that's what you're alluding to with talking to Mr. Bart.
Yeah.
will be that very same thing with the moon landing.
Here's the thing, right? Like, I don't think, like, you don't tell your kids everything, right?
Oh, I do.
Just Bennett, right? Because he didn't understand it anyway. Bennett, Dave didn't pay his 16 cents. We can't eat tonight.
He'll say out. He cracks me up now because when he doesn't want to go, no. It's like really just, it's over exact. No. He can't just say no. It's no.
Well, that's how you got to say
like,
it.
be gone with you.
He's practicing his old man, right?
He is like a little old man.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. That's well put. Anyway.
Yeah. So
no, right. We don't tell our kids everything.
Yeah. So we don't tell our kids everything. And as a manager, right, of people, you can't be 100% transparent. There's things you can't talk about, right? Like business plans and things that you really can't discuss.
You can't talk about Bruno either.
You can't. No, you leave that one alone. But, I mean, because I'm in leadership. I can't talk about everything because first of all, some of the things never happen, right? It's like we're just discussing it and you don't want that to get out.
Right.
And then people, also,
Lots of things get floated around.
So I'm saying that to say our government not telling us everything is probably not a bad thing because there's probably things we don't want to know, right?
Right. I mean, for nothing else, for security.
I mean, I don't want to know that the only reason that Knoxville is still here is because the government got wind of something happening in another country and we bombed the shit out of it and killed 10,000 people. I don't want to know that.
Right.
I just don't. Right. It's like, hey, it is what it is. So,
thanks for taking care of business, boys.
Yeah.
And girls.
I mean, it's like Jack Nicholson, right? Like you can't handle the truth. So I don't think the government telling us everything's a good idea.
No, I get what you're saying.
But Kennedy says we're going to the moon before the end of the decade.
He did.
He said we're going to do it.
He did.
There's a couple of pieces of evidence of this that still drive me nuts to this day. Because let me just be honest with you. I want to believe that we did. But there's a few things that's weird. Okay?
I'm ready.
We did it. We said we did it a couple times, right? Like twice we actually landed people on the moon. And then we orbited the moon several times. Well, we didn't do it again. We just decided not to. So what technology do you know of that got to a super high level and then they just said, right? And not just from us, but any other country. Nobody else's, like no other countries claim they landed a human on the moon. No other country.
Right.
So here's that part is interesting to me. The second part that interests me, and I joke about this, are called the Van Allen radiation belts. They're the radiation belts that sans North and South Pole basically encompass an area around the Earth about 300 miles or so above the Earth, somewhere around there. I don't know. They're thick and juicy. And it's like high levels of radiation, right? Like they've sent test flights through, and like got readings and it jacked up, all this equipment and stuff, right? And they done this later. Like they're like, man, our instrumentation messed up. Like, well, we had the technology in 1969? Like that's confusing to me. And the Orion project, which I forget when that was. I think it was like 2004. The Orion project was to land a man on the moon, right? It was Apollo's gone. We've retired that. We're going to land another man on the moon. The dude doing the discussion about that put the video at like, here's how the spacecraft's going to work and all this stuff, talked about the radiation belts and talked about how we were going to have to shield this spacecraft before we can ever put a human through it.
And you were like,
why don't you use the same technology that you did in 1969? Plus, they dismantled all the equipment. Those astronauts didn't want to talk about it ever. The first press conference they had, like after, if you watch it, that's the most uncomfortable group of three people that I've ever seen in my life. They look so uncomfortable. There's a teleprompter in the table, and they're reading it word for word. And again, it was at a point where we're in a race with Russia, who was ahead of us in that race, right?
Right.
Like they really were.
No, yeah, right.
So the fact that we didn't do it again, those guys won't really talk about it. And the last piece, and you'd have to watch this video. I cannot do this justice. Bart will do it so much more justice. is the video. It's so. How can I tell this without telling the whole story? So when Bart was doing the investigation, when he was first getting video from NASA, he was asking for things for NASA, and they kept sending him something completely different. He wanted raw, unedited footage of just the ship taking off. Right? He's like, "Hey, I don't want what you gave the TV station. I want the raw." And he said, "Really, that's what I wanted to start the documentary with. Was just a picture of the rocket." Right? It's like you would think, why is that classified or whatever? And for whatever reason, they just didn't give it to him. And he finally, he looked at a reel that they sent him. The beginning of the reel says not for public distribution. It said it, right? And it goes on to clearly show the astronauts orbiting Earth. Mm-hmm. And again, I can't do this justice, but they had the camera in the back of the spaceship pointing, you know the little circular window that's always there?
Yeah.
So the camera is in the back of the spaceship. Pointing toward that circular window. Okay, zoomed out, and they put tape and masking things around the window and turned the lights off in the space shuttle to show the Earth smaller than it should be. Like smaller, like, hey, we're so far away, it's small. And again, this film probably should have never been in anybody's hands but NASA. And then like they're doing all this stuff and like there's some squirrely stuff. Then they turn the lights on. And like they take the tape off. they turn the lights on. And when they turn the lights on and the camera goes back to normal, you can see clearly behind, I don't know which astronaut it is, the Earth, and it's filling up the whole window. And at that point in time, they were supposed to be halfway to the moon. So again, now if Rogan did this too on his show, because it was the first thing that I thought of him, like, okay, you could say that they got up there and they're like, hey, let's do this shot now because we don't know what it's going to look like when we get that far up there. We don't know.
Sure.
So let's do it now. Yeah, it's a little, we're deceiving people a little bit, but in the end, it's really whatever. Like we really went. It's just we didn't know if we could get the cameras
right. I get that.
Okay, maybe that's the truth, but it's not a good start because again, they were supposed to be halfway at that point.
I get you.
And so
we believe they were in space.
I think
there's no real debate over that. I guess the debate becomes, did they actually put it down on the moon?
Yeah, right.
And get out,
yeah,
and plant the flag, and say that's one small step for man, that's one giant leap for mankind.
I mean, don't you think we'd have a moon base by now?
See, I don't know. I don't know.
I've always thought the whole thing was really squirrely. And in other countries, by the way, and again, this isn't surprising, but in other countries, they teach that the United States faked the whole thing.
Well, I mean, right.
And again, it's not like we've ever...
Do you know which countries specifically do that? I don't. I was just curious.
I am assuming that the two that... I mean, I'm assuming Chinese students learned that we didn't. I'm assuming Russian students learned that we didn't. And
I would have said for sure Russia. I mean,
probably some countries in Europe too.
Yeah,
I would guess.
I'll look that up. That'd be interesting to know
because they actually teach it in their curriculum that we didn't. Like it's like a fact.
Right.
And the people that believe now that we didn't go, that percentage is starting to get higher. And again, people love conspiracy theories, and I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. Bart actually talked to rocket scientists, talked to people that worked on the program that he can't say, that specifically told him, yeah, we were under a crunch and we didn't have the technology. We couldn't get past the radiation belt safely with humans. Because, I mean, you got to do it twice, right? You got to go there and back.
Right, you got to make it back.
And then that Orion project came, and I remember watching that, and I think it was the Orion project, and the guy's like, yeah, before we can ever put anybody through, we have to work on this because of the radiation belt. It's like, well, you did it in 1969, dude. Like, come on, So
they just don't make it like they used to.
They don't. Aluminum foil is tough. And again, they dismantled it too. Like, and why would you do that? Like, why wouldn't it be in the Smithsonian, or why wouldn't it be in the, like the limb? So like I'm not trying to sway you one way or the other because I don't know. I don't have the answers. And Bart's much as much more knowledge on this subject than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. I think it'd be really cool to be able to get to talk with him and have him, just present what he can. Because obviously, I guess there's a few things he can't really say per se.
He even says that too. He's like, some things like people swore me to in confidentiality, and he's like, I won't,
Right, we can't necessarily betray that.
Yeah,
but it strengthens his argument. So of course, that's when you say to yourself, well, regardless of what they said, it didn't change his opinion. So obviously, they had to have said something that reflects that we didn't actually make it.
And Buzz Aldrin punched him in the face once. So
that guy, Bart,
yeah.
Oh,
his story is amazing.
Well, don't spoil it because I'd like, Well,
no.
Buzz wasn't exactly the most stable individual from what I've read.
Well, the documentary he did called "Astronauts Gone Wild" was him finding former astronauts who said that landed and or orbited the moon and asked them to swear on a Bible that happened, and not one of them would. None. It's on camera. None. And he got punched.
Oh, wow.
So again, this guy, I'm so, you can tell, I'm excited to talk to him because I've wanted to talk to him forever.
Well, no, I mean, literally 20 years.
20 years that I've wanted to talk to this guy.
Come full circle, Dave. You have come. Dave, man.
Yeah, and I used to do radio and I didn't get to talk to the guy, but
you
now...
once were lost, but now you're found. Bart's coming on the Dave and Doc show.
Thank you, Bart. Thank you very much.
That's it.
So
Sweet.
Bart Stillwell, just kidding. Bart Sabrell
and Peppy Bennett.
Together.
That's right, forever.
In the
nethers.
In the nethers. So hopefully next week we'll try to get that squared
awesome.
next week so we can record it. Even if we record it and then do the show another night, but
right.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get it.
I want to get that. I want to get that in.
It's better when we do it live, though.
Oh, it's so much better.
Yeah, that always works.
Fun stuff.
That always works out better.
I need to buy like a shirt too, like a shirt with a picture of the moon on it or something.
You could just moon him.
I could.
Look at that crater.
I could. One of the astronauts.
Is there water on that moon?
One of the astronauts need him in the butt too. No, like he actually said to him, he said, I've never hit anybody, but you're making me mad. And then when he turned it, he's like, you need to leave. And Bart's like, okay, I'll leave. Starts getting his stuff, and then he like knees him in the ass.
That's kind of disturbing.
It's weird.
That is weird.
They didn't like being questioned about that stuff. So
that's weird, man.
He's been like tracked by the government.
Of course he's being tracked by the government.
But
I mean, what do you think was going to happen? Can I see the unedited footage? Who is this?
But like to an extreme measure. I'll let him tell the stories because he can tell them so much better than me. But the book is called Moon Man, and he didn't ask me to promote it, but I'm promoting it anyway. I'm currently listening to it now and almost finished with it. So
audio for the Moon Man,
and he reads it too. By the way, if you
believe they put a man on the moon,
Jim Carrey did that, right? Like he was in that movie.
Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he played Andy Kaufman.
Yeah, he played Andy Kaufman. He did.
Andy Kaufman.
Andy Kaufman in the wrestling match.
Oh, here was one that, and we can end the show on this, so we'll get off conspiracies for a second. But I meant to ask you this because we talked about your favorite TV shows, right? Like last week.
Yeah, we left some out. Supposedly, people were saying.
Yeah, I'm sure. I thought of some like after the show or whatever while I was editing, which was a pain in the ass to edit. By the way.
Sorry.
Shit was just going wrong, and like I don't know. There was an easy way for me to do it, and I just refused to do it because it had to work the way I wanted it to work. And then finally I said,
"You, Dave."
I know. Finally, I said, "F it, I'm just gonna do it the other way." But let me ask you this: who's your favorite comedian of all time?
Gosh, of all time,
all's times.
Bernie Mac.
Are you being serious?
Yes. You weren't expecting that.
No. That name did not even enter my mind.
That's because you're racist, Dave. That's what
clearly.
That's what it is.
Clearly.
Everybody knows.
I don't really think about him being a comedian. Like Bernie was an actor and he was flipping hilarious in the Ocean movie.
But he was a comedian before that.
That's true. I mean, you're right.
I mean, that's how he came up. I mean, King's a comedy, man.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes. Him and Steve Harvey, Cedric the Entertainer, D.L. Hughley.
I love Bernie Mac and the
Bernie
Ocean
Mac,
movies.
man.
No, I love Bernie Mac. I just didn't think.
Would you do that for me? Would you now? Shaking that guy's hand. Oh, that's
His hands all greasy, and he said, "You're a fine man. You're a fine man."
so. Yeah, no. I mean, he's definitely up there. I mean,
Bernie Mac, really?
Bernie Mac, yes, man. If you listen to his stuff, stir it like coffee. That's all I'm gonna say. You need to look that up.
I will.
Bernie Mac, stir it like coffee. Stir it like MF and coffee. That mess is hilarious.
So that's interesting. Who's your number two then?
Well, so is he really number one? I don't know.
I mean, you popped that name right out, but like you had it ready. One day Dave's gonna ask me this.
No. It's always hard off the cuff because different people come to mind.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I spent a lot of my life listening to comedians too. Like that's been a big, like, it's one of my things. I love to listen to comedians.
I would say, I mean, like, so if you go legendary comedians, I mean, obviously, I think you have to put George Carlin in there.
Mm-hmm.
I think you actually have to put Richard Pryor in there.
100%.
I think
Rodney Dangerfield.
I think probably Rodney Dangerfield.
Robin Williams.
I would, it's probably if you look. And that's funny you said that because when you said who would be my number two, and I actually think it probably is Robin Williams. It's just Bernie came into my. I would say Robin Williams is probably number one.
It also depends on when you saw them, right?
Well, I know it's funny you said that because I actually something randomly I was looking at something different on YouTube, and it was a Whose Line Is It Anyway, and it was a Robin Williams, and it was like movie things, and I was like, oh man, and I just randomly clicked on it because I was like, this guy's hilarious, I love it. So I would probably say Robin Williams would be my number one. I actually think that's probably number one. And in terms of because I've listened to Carlin and I've listened to Richard Pryor, and they are hilarious.
Yeah.
I would say I probably have listened more to Bernie Mac's stuff just because I loved Kings of Comedy.
Yeah.
And that came out in '99 and all that. So that's probably part of it too, with the 25 years ago type of thing. But I think I would say as my number one, it's got to be Robin Williams.
Yeah,
that's who I would put.
One of the funniest things that I ever saw in my life was A Night at the Met, and then from Robin Williams. That is one of the funniest sets. And if you ever want to watch a guy that's overly hairy wearing a silk Hawaiian shirt
and sweating like
to the
crazy.
oldies because cocaine is rough. That is one of the funniest things that you will laugh the entire time. You got to watch it. Don't listen. Watch it. Don't just listen to it.
Well, see, and that's what makes him so good is it's the physical.
Yeah.
The nonverbal communication. That's what makes a lot of those guys. And that's why I love Bernie Mac so much. Just for what it is, because the physical stuff that he does. He's just, he's got those eyes and all the stuff. But yeah, Robin Williams. I mean. Obviously, the material speaks for itself, but just his physical stuff he's doing, you're just like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's not close. It's George Carlin. And
had a feeling.
But Carlin, it's not just that he's funny, because he was obviously all these guys are funny, but like Carlin was so intelligent. Like it was almost like to a point that it's like, is this dude not Nostradamus, like as a comedian? Because like a lot of the things he said came true. He talked about like one day, because we're such germaphobes, we're gonna get some disease that's gonna turn your intestines into liquid shit. He's like, they're gonna shut down the schools and they're gonna shut down that happened. And he talked about the economy. He's like, yeah, one day your stupid economy is gonna shit the bed, and it did that too. And anyway, he was so smart. That I think that like I liked him, and again, he's my favorite. Robin Williams is probably a number two. I actually love Ron White. I like
Tater salad.
I love that style. He's just funny. He's real slow in his delivery,
and he's got the physical. He's always got the bourbon and the cigarette and all the things.
He's like,
they told me I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability.
And he's, he was talking about his in-laws, and he's like, they were loaded, and and he said his wife got a call one day, and it's like, oh no, are they both gone? He's thinking, that's terrible, honey. In-laws, and he's like, turns out it was somebody else, but whatever. But I because we saw him live several years ago here in Knoxville. And I would have loved to have seen George Carlin, and I should have made an effort to go see him. I didn't know. I mean, he was getting older too, and had tons of health problems.
Right.
And Robin Williams,
Smoking and drinking.
yeah.
Get you.
And I mean, who knew Robin Williams that was going to happen to him? But I would say George is number one. Robin Williams 2. I actually love me some Steve Martin stand up. I really do. I love Steve Martin. I love Martin Short. Those two are just kind of together all the time. David Letterman, who was a comedian way before he ever got into TV. He went from being a comedian to a weatherman, and then got his own show. And even Leno's stand up was really good at one time. I mean, screw that guy now. But take your blue jean shirt and go F yourself. But yeah, no, I'm done with him. He screwed over David Letterman, then he screwed over Conan O'Brien. Like, dude, you're just a jackass. And I'm sure he's listening to this show and really upset that I said that, sitting in his 1934 Model A that's worth $60 billion or something. I don't know when the Model A come out. Somebody's going to comment on that, I'm sure. Learn your cars, Dave.
You know when it came out? It came out when I got my iPhone 8S.
It's the same day. Doc's getting his 8S.
That was a good way to end it, wasn't it?
It was.
It kind of disarmed
8S.
it because I knew you're just getting militant on Leno.
Yeah.
I'm excited, man.
Yeah, hopefully next week we get Bart.
If you going to the moon, we coming too.
That's right.
Be rolling with them Cadillac grills. Cedric the Entertainer talking about people going to the moon. Everybody all inclusive.
You can get through those.
That's a 72 deuce and a quarter. Get there.
If you can get through the Van Halen radiation belts, as I like to call them.
Van Halen. That's the first thing I thought when I was like, oh, he's yeah.
It's the Van Halen radiation belts.
Interesting things.
So
thank y'all for listening.
Hopefully that's next week. It's the David Doc Podcast. This is episode 77 of the show, and all things David Doc are on our website at DaveDoc.com. That's DaveAndDoc.com.
Thank you. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, everybody in the United States. We appreciate you.
Even the Ruskies. Thank you, Ruskies.
Stop teaching stuff that
right. We'll figure it out next week.
Keep our name out of your mouth, USSR. You don't exist anymore. I know.
I got a call.
See you. Bye.
See you, folks. Bye.